Hey, it's Sam here. It is really hot and there's loads of cicadas making loads of noise, which you can probably hear. But I'm doing this video now as I just want to share something completely awesome that I was able to do a couple of weeks ago, and I considered sharing it right away, but I also didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be too hasty in case it came back. So I wanted to make sure that this healing, that it had really happened and it had stuck, as it was so quick. And what it is that I actually managed to heal an infection beneath one of my molars, and that means that there was a cavity that had gone through the tooth. So I thought I'd share how I healed the infection itself really quickly, as well as what I'm doing now to heal the cavity and improve my tooth health on an ongoing basis. So a couple of Wednesdays ago, I started noticing some soreness in my top left gum, and over the next few days this kept getting worse and worse. At first there was pain whenever I put pressure on the tooth, and then constant pain, generally, EFT terms, generally a 2 or 3 out of 10, but going up to a 6 or 7 or 8 whenever eating. Really excruciating for a few moments when I had a drink, just even room temperature water, and when I ate a cold ice lolly, that was absolutely agonizing. I could also feel that there was an infection behind the tooth, which I know, because I've had a lot of experience with teeth issues, unfortunately, over my life. I know that this means that there's a cavity that's gone through. Now, normally, this has meant extraction for me. I've over the years, I've had to have 4 teeth taken out, and I really didn't want to lose another one. But by Sunday, a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, something like that, by Sunday I was thinking that this one was going to have to go, and this was going to get pulled as well. But then the thought came to me, what if I can heal this? Teeth have always been a weak link for me. I find dental pain really hard to deal with, and I also was aware that from the perspective of meta-consciousness and German new medicine, the healing phase for a tooth would involve a significant amount of pain, because pain is happening when bones and teeth are bone. So as the tissue repaired, there'd be a significant amount of pain. But I decided to give it a go. So firstly, I'll tell you the physical things I was doing. I had been, for a few days, I'd been oil pulling. So I think it was for 3 days by this point. Which I've always found, when I remember to it, which I always find great for gum and mouth health. And that's, if you don't know what it is, it's swishing a small amount of coconut oil around your teeth, ideally for 20 minutes each morning. But sometimes I only manage 5 or 10 minutes, because if you're not distracted, it can be quite gaggy if that's all you've got focused on. So it's good to distract yourself with something else while you're doing it. But I do definitely recommend it. Definitely give it a go for general mouth health, because it draws toxins out through your gums and you end up with your gums in really good health. And it's also, what I've found is it's really great for even dislodging little bits that you can't get out with the floss or those toothy peg things or whatever you use. So for dislodging those little bits between your teeth. And I remember actually on the Sunday morning when I was feeling really miserable, cooking some boiled eggs and feeling sorry for myself, I remembered this thing came to me. I remembered that I'd heard about ground up eggshells being good for teeth repairs. So after I'd had my breakfast, which was very painful, I asked Dr. Interwebs, and I found lots of sites about it. And what I did was I ground up 6 eggshells in a spice grinder and then made them into a paste with coconut oil. And what I found is, on the interwebs, is as well as being made up mostly of calcium, eggshells contain 27 like trace minerals, which are things that aren't in our diet normally, and they're great for remineralization. So what I do with this is I take about half a teaspoon, swish it around my mouth, and then I wash it down with loads of water. Now, it's not very nice, as you can imagine, but it seems worth it, and I am going to continue with it. But, you know, that was only on the Sunday morning, and the massive shift, the big shifts really happened when I actually looked at the biological meaning of the tooth and the infection. First thing I looked at, as the infection included inflammation, I knew that there would be some aspect of isolation and abandonment conflict to look at. And what this does is happens in all sorts of healing symptoms that you have. Isolation and abandonment conflicts trigger the kidney collecting tubules and cause the body to retain fluid and water as a survival mechanism. And what this does is that any inflammation, any swelling, any bloating, anything where water or fluid could gather in your body gets worse or feels worse. So I thought about anything that I was feeling alone with, and my mind went back to a shock that I'd felt from receiving some bad news in a text a couple of nights ago. And just what I did was I told my wife about it and stopped feeling like I had to deal with it on my own. This wasn't even that big a deal, but it was the holding on to it myself that may have triggered this kidney collecting tubule conflict. It seemed to do the trick. Then looking at the tooth itself, I realised that I'd been looking for the wrong conflict. I'd assumed it was something called a bite conflict, which is not being able to bite back at someone or something in life, but that only applies actually to the front teeth. And the molars relate to a different type of conflict, like literally being unable to grind or crush something down. Well, I say literally, metaphorically, in fact, for humans with the way our minds work. And this idea of being unable to grind or crush something or someone down, it sounds awful, but what it's really to do with is assimilating a morsel, some information into your life. And because we think metaphorically, a morsel is generally something that you desire but are unable to completely bring into your life. Now, as I was in pain, I also knew that this was happening after I'd had some kind of acceptance over the issue, as I was in the restoration phase of the healing cycle. That's actually the healing phase, but it's when pain really happens. So, yeah, metaphorically, these morsels are often to do with relationships. And I was able to look back at some areas that, my wife and I have been chewing over, and, some things we've been, having some, I guess you could call it, arguments over for a long time, which had improved and were feeling resolved. And still then also, because there was still pain and this symptom was still staying, what I was still holding on to. And just through doing this, as well as reaffirming to myself that my body's always attempting to heal, and I was using tapping just to remind myself of that, resolve any of the sort of fear and the stress around it, and any tail enders that I had around being able to heal. And what happened on the same day, by Sunday evening, the pain had completely gone, and also has had the swollen feeling behind the tooth, and the next day and until today, nearly 2 weeks later, it was still gone. I was so excited that I wanted to put this information out straight away, but I did choose to wait and see for, well, until now, basically. But yeah, I'm sharing it now. And what I'm continuing to do, I'm still oil pulling, not every day, but when I remember. And I keep, most days, having half a teaspoon of the ground eggshell mixture for the remineralisation. You know, we need the right building blocks for healing. Healing's not just all in the mind or all in the emotions. You also need the physical stuff as well. Excuse me. But in fact, you know, regarding the ground eggshells, I've done some more research into it, and in fact, it turns out they are a superfood. So I'm going to keep using them, as well as seeing how I can get the rest of the family to enjoy them, which I'm sure is going to be really easy for the kids, of course. But yeah, these minerals are really important building blocks. So so I want everyone to have them, and I think it will improve tooth health for all of us, and give it a go if you struggle with your teeth as well. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you've found that useful. I'm really delighted by it. This is the third big healing of my own symptoms I've had in the last 2 years. I've also, in case you weren't aware, I've healed myself of long-sightedness, so that my eyesight went almost back to 20/20 vision again. And I also healed some quite nasty digestive and breathing issues that I had last year, and all of those things have really improved. So I've been working with this stuff for about helping people in their healing processes for 11 years now, but with meta consciousness and German new medicine for the past 7 years. So it's been great to really experience it for myself, as well as seeing the awesome benefits and the healings that many of my clients have had. So that's all I wanted to say. If you have any questions about any of this, if you have teeth problems and you don't want to go down that dental route and have teeth taken out, expensive implants, etc., you want to see what's possible, or if you've got any other physical or psychological symptoms going on, just get in touch with me. There'll be a link somewhere around here, or drop me a message if there isn't, and we can book in a free call for half an hour or so, and I can give you some insights into what's going on for you and what your potential would be to heal yourself, carry out self-healing, probably with my guidance. And be great for you. I'd love to support you. Sam, bye for now.